How's it going, YouTube? This is Skul, and welcome to my monthly video games pickup video. This is all the games that I got in the month of February 2018. As you can probably see, there's a lot here, and there's probably even stuff that isn't in frame, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. I really don't know where to start with all of this. I guess I'll go ahead and start with the limited run games. I didn't get any new ones this month. Actually, I ordered a lot of new ones, but none came in straight from LRG. But what I started to do was go back and start filling up my library of PS4 games that I currently don't have LRG games. Basically, the LRG games I'm missing in PS4. Which is that and Switch are going to be the only two I go after, not going after the Vita. As of now, I think I have 30% of the limited run games library thanks to these purchases. So, the first big one, if you guys know anything about limited run games, you probably know what this is. Saturday Morning RPG. In fact, they announced that this will be one of the first games that they put out on the Switch as well, so that's pretty exciting. What's interesting about this is the first LRG game released on the PlayStation 4, and to date, it is the most limited as well. Only 1,980 copies were made, and I'm holding one of them. Complete, has everything there, flawless condition, super happy to have that. I basically figured, you know, may as well spend $80 for it now rather than have to spend a lot more for it later. I'm holding, like, a half of a percentage of the entire run of the game ever made, so pretty... I basically figured may as well get it now while it's cheap. Cheaper than it will be and easier to get. I also got Runner 2, and I believe Runner 3 comes out as a wide release on the Switch in April, so that's pretty exciting. And finally, I got Wonder Boy: The Dragon's Trap. This is one of the cheaper ones. I was just browsing eBay saying, okay, what's cheap? Runner 2 came up, Wonder Boy Dragon's Trap came up, so I got those, and just helping to flesh out my LRG library a little bit. I also got a few PS4 games. GameStop had a sale where it was like, buy 4 games that are marked as $4.99 or less, and get all 4 for just $10, so I jumped on that. And the 4 games I got were FIFA 14, these are all sports games, Madden 16, NBA 2K15, and NBA 2K14. I'm not really collecting the PS4 as much just because there's a lot more games there, but I figure, you know what, for $10 I'll go ahead and pick up a few games. And then I got a brand new game that just released this month as well, Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet. I haven't had a chance to sit down and play this yet, but I probably will later today or tomorrow when I have free time. So I'm a huge Sword Art Online fan. Funny enough, this was the first game that was also released on the Xbox One in the series. I obviously got the PS4 version instead, but I'm pretty happy with that. So I don't know anything about it. I don't even know what the reviews are of it, but I love Sword Art Online, and this looked like a fun game, so I went ahead and got that. Now I'm trying to figure out what to focus on next. I guess I'll just go ahead and point these out. I got 2 PlayStation Move controllers. These are basically a single... I really don't know how to describe these. They're for PlayStation 3. You can hold it in one hand and do all the controls therein necessary for a PS3 controller. I don't have a PS3. I got these for a super secret project that I'm working on, and I got 2 of them, one as a backup to the other, so that's why I got those, but it is video game related, so I figured I'd show that off. If you watched my retro game treasure box opening from a few days ago, then these are the games I got from that. Got Wave Race 64 for the N64, I got Super Pinball for the Super Nintendo, and I got Commando and Dr. Mario for the NES. I really didn't have anywhere else to lump those in here, but yeah, if you watch my video frequently, then you've seen those already, so you already knew I got those, but anyway, I'll go ahead and show this off next. I got a PlayStation Vita. This is the North American version with Wi-Fi capabilities. So pretty excited. The story of how I got this is basically a horror story, but it's thanks to you guys who donated during my live streams that I was able to get this. I got one off eBay that I made sure was NTSC, North American coding. The Vita is region free, so it doesn't really matter, but I like North American things, so I try to get them whenever I can. The guy shipped it from his warehouse in Venezuela. He sold it from California, shipped it from Venezuela. If you were following the tracking on that, it went through the same city over and over for a week straight. No joke, no exaggeration. Clearance event at this one city, clearance event at this one city, every day for a week. Then it moved about 10 miles further north and did that for another few days. Then went to Panama, did that for another few days, and then finally it got here while I was in New York. So it was sort of a mess trying to figure out how to sign for this through DHL, since I wouldn't be home to sign for it. Managed to call them, explain the situation, and we got something figured out, and obviously now I have it. Everything is in there, the console, the power pack, the manuals, the instructions, all that stuff, AR cards. Believe it or not, Vita has those too. So I have a Vita now, which is awesome. And I got some Vita games to go with it. It came with Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed, which I already had on the Wii U, but this came with the eBay listing. And it came with FIFA Soccer 13. And then, while I was in GameStop as an impulse purchase, I also got Spy Hunter. I don't know if I want to collect for the Vita or not. There's like 500 games for it, so there's a lot to go after, and the Vita didn't sell well, so most of those were like $20 minimum. A lot of them go for retail price, a lot of them go for more than retail, so the Vita would be a pain to collect for if I wish to go after it, but at the same time, I like consoles that are underperformers, and that just goes straight into the next thing I got. I got an Atari Jaguar. So, in case you don't know what this is, this was Atari's competitor to the N64, the PlayStation, and the Sega Saturn. It sold only about 750,000 units in the world. I don't think it was even released in Europe. I could be wrong. I think it might have only even been released... No, it was. I'm thinking of something else, but this was released worldwide, so Europe, America, Japan, 750,000 units sold. Not good. Not very good at all. This was Atari's last try to get big again in the games market before they decided to shift only to making games instead of consoles. This was the final game console manufactured in North America. Xbox is from North America, but they manufacture all their stuff through China. This is the last time that a game console this big, that was meant to be a competitor, was made in North America, which is pretty awesome. I love the look of the Jaguar. I got it complete. Oh man, I should have brought my box down here to show you, but if you just Google the logo for the Atari Jaguar, it has these awesome Jaguar eyes against a black background with the Jaguar logo right there. It looks so cool. And I think most people can agree, like, regardless of what you think about how the games play on this, and they don't look like they belong in that generation. They look very primitive. But regardless of the games, you gotta admit the console itself looks pretty cool. That's part of the reason why I like it. And I guess the perfect segue into that is the one game that I currently have for the Jaguar, Iron Soldier. But this is complete in box, so... long story short, when I went to Orlando during the last end of February, I went there for a rocket launch. There should be a vlog on my channel later, that and New York as well. And when I was down there, I had some time to kill, so I went to Google and said, okay, Google, what are the best retro game stores in Orlando? And it came up with, I promised them I'd give them a shout out because they were so nice. Cybertron Games. So if you're ever in Orlando, look for Cybertron Games. That's where I found this whole pile of games that I'm about to show off here. Oh, I just realized this came with the overlay for the keypad, which I won't show off the keypad itself, but man, the Jaguar was just... This thing is mint! Oh my goodness, I didn't even realize how mint it was. But yeah, the Jaguar games are sort of unique. They look like this. That's not a problem with your monitor. This is curved at the top. Has a handle, and it's... So the whole idea is you put it in the console like that, and then you grip it and pull it out, which a lot of people thought was stupid. I think it's kind of cool. This was one of the last consoles to use cartridges, though. Basically, only the Nintendo 64 did it after that. But pretty cool concept, and now I have an Atari game, and it's complete in box. Ironically enough, in North America, there were 49 Atari Jaguar games released. 49 in cartridge form. Then they put a CD add-on, and there's 12 of those, I think. But long story short, there's only 49 games to go after, so I'm holding more than 2% of a complete collection in my hands. It's not easy to get them, but there aren't that many, so I think collecting for the Jaguar would be really, really fun. I really hope to do it, and since I have this one in amazing condition, complete in box, maybe I'll try a CIB collection. The other 4 games I got at that store, I'm super happy with. Most of the, like, basically everything I got there were impulse purchases. I just had some extra money. I'm like, okay, I'll go and see what they have. I saw what they had and I got it all. We got Yoshi for the NES. This is just the box and the cartridge. It does not come with the manual, but you know how hard it is to find NES boxes these days? Super, super happy, and it even comes in this nice protective sleeve. My favorite pickup of the entire month, I'm not kidding, Metroid for the NES. So when I got my NES, I wanted this to be my very first game on it. It's super hard. Well, it's not super hard, but this is a less common variant of Metroid that was made after the game sold 1 million copies. They reprinted it with this nice yellow box that's Samus in a completely new look. It used to come in a gray box. The cartridge looks identical to this. It's a little harder to find. This is the variant that I wanted, though, because I like the look of it. And not only did I find it, I found it complete in box. It comes with the cartridge, the box, and the manual. And they had it just on the shelf. I was like, I want that. And they were like, okay, let's get it for you. So that's my favorite game of the month. Also from there, I picked up a Wii U game that I was missing, Guitar Hero Live. I think I'm up to 30 games now on the Wii U, something like that. I gotta count. You know, slowly getting up there. And I ended up getting my very first 3DO game. Madden Football. This, actually, funny enough, you know Madden? It was first made for the 3DO. You guys probably have no idea what the 3DO was. It was another one of those failed consoles that was meant to compete with the PlayStation and the N64 and the Jaguar. This came out the same generation as the Jaguar. Look at how tall this box is. Let's compare it with this PlayStation 2 game here. This is basically a standard DVD case. Look at the size difference. That's just amazing. And ironically, I do have a shelf that can fit this. Barely, but it does fit. So, and it seems this is the demo copy. And 3DO games just come in a disc format. They look like a standard CD disc. It's super easy to rip 3DO games. So if I ever got a 3DO, I'd probably try out a ton of games before I went out and actually bought them. I don't think there's a complete list anywhere in the world of a complete 3DO games list, but who knows, whatever. So there we go, my very first 3DO game, and all those other games, and like I said, Metroid, #1. But yeah, so that covers that store. Okay, where is it? Okay, while I was in New York the week before, I went to a retro game store called Video Games New York. Doesn't sound that Googleable, but it works. So I was surprised at how much they had with how little space they have to work with. If you've ever been to New York, you know every square centimeter has to count in a rental space that they use. And they just had a very small room, probably smaller than the room I'm currently filming in, just packed with games. It was quite impressive to see what all they had, and I ended up buying a few things. I got Pokemon Red. This isn't the actual case for it. It was just the cartridge that it came with, you know, the regular whatever. There's actually the Video Games New York sticker on the back, which I'll probably leave for sentimental purposes. I just made this custom case so that's easier to put on my shelf. And thanks to this, I'm down to just 6 main series Pokemon games that I'm missing. I have all of Gen 1, all of Gen 2, just missing a few from Gen 3, 4, and 5. That's it. So, super happy with that pickup. And I got another limited run game. They had a ton of LRG games there. A ton. They had, like, selections upon selections. That was the price tag. I don't want you to know how much I paid for this. 2064. Limited run games, number 64. So, did I actually order this from LRG? I don't know, but regardless, I saw they had this. I wanted it. I got it. Beautiful, beautiful looking game, and as you can see, I haven't even taken it out of the shrink wrap yet, but that is going in my LRG pile. So that store was just amazing. I was really surprised by the selection they had. I wish I had more money to splurge while I was up there, but it's all good. And then while I was in New York, I hit up a random GameStop just to see what they had, and I picked up another Wii U game that I was missing, Angry Birds Star Wars. So let me go ahead and, this is actually flowing together very well. Let me go ahead and use that to show off my actual Wii U games pickups for this month. So I hit up GameStop here and to see what they had. And they had Assassin's Creed 3, and they had Wii Fit U. So I got those. And then Target had this deal going on where it was buy one, get one free on Wii U games, brand new. It was such a pain for me, though, because I wanted two games in particular. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which I have on the Switch but not on the Wii U, and Paper Mario Color Splash. Very hard to see those going down in price anytime soon, and if I ever did get them at a cheaper price, it would probably be used, and I wanted Breath of the Wild brand new. Well, as you guys know, if you pay attention, I have Breath of the Wild on the Wii U now, and Paper Mario Color Splash. So, the story with this is, someone in the Switch Collectors Discord, actually the guy who runs it, happens to live kind of close to me, like in the same state, but it's Texas, so it's rather far. He volunteered to go to his Target and get these for me, and then he shipped them over to me, so huge shout out to CM for hooking me up with this. This is really awesome. I'm super happy to have them now, especially The Legend of Zelda. This is Nintendo's last game that they ever made for the Wii U. One of the last games to ever come out on the Wii U. I think when all's said and done, it'll be one of the last 10. I think right now, even, it's one of the last 5. Something like that. So, thank you so much for that. And when he shipped it to me, he also included some goodies. He included, just in this little case here, the Punisher for the Game Boy, and it is Super Game Boy Enhanced, which is awesome. I haven't played it yet, don't know what it is, but it looks pretty fun. And then also he sent me this, a coin, a commemorative launch coin for Super Mario Galaxy. So you can see there it is. This isn't Galaxy itself. It took me a little while pawing through this to realize Galaxy was not in here. The game's not in here. Just the coin, but hey, thank you so much, CM, for the extras. You didn't have to do that. And especially thanks for getting these games for me because, in essence, I got them for $30. I sent him the money, he bought it, he shipped it, so I ended up getting those games for $30 each. Super happy about that. I'm going to go ahead and save my Switch games for last year. It looks like I only have one other thing to talk about, and that is this PS2 game I showed you before, The Naked Brothers Band, the video game. If you are younger than 14, you probably have no idea what this is, and if you're older than 20, you might not know what this is. Naked Brothers Band was actually kind of a big deal in the early 2000s on Nickelodeon. Why in the world did I get this? I don't care for this at all, but the story behind me getting this made it worth it for me. I was in Walmart just looking in their used game section, looking in their bargain bin section, and they had this. This month, they had this on a store shelf for sale. And just the novelty of buying a PlayStation 2 game in the year 2018, I had to get it. So I did. This is only like my 4th PlayStation 2 game, I think. But I got it at Walmart. That's just unbelievable to think about. Anyway, so for those of you who have been paying attention, I'm down to my Switch games. This is last. The Switch has now turned 1 year old, and these are the last games to be released on it in North America before its anniversary. 77 games in North America released on the Switch in its first year. That's a really, really strong year. Ironically, the first game I'm going to show you is not a North American release, Bayonetta. You might be like, hey Skul, didn't Bayonetta 2 get a release? Why, yes it did. I got Bayonetta 2, and this is the North American version. This is the Japanese version of Bayonetta, the first game. So, in order to get this, you had to import the special edition from Japan that came with this. That's the only way to get it, and the sales numbers indicate that less than 12,000 were made. That's the only way to get this. Physical game is right there. It plays in English on my Switch. I've been playing it a lot during my trip to New York. It's super fun. It's not for kids, but I love it. And, so, the rest of the special edition I actually ended up giving to Crystal during our meetup in New York. So she has she has everything else it came with, but I just wanted this anyway, so I'm happy with this. Then, like I said, I got Bayonetta 2. The code for Bayonetta that comes with this, I sent to Crystal as well. So basically, I gave her Bayonetta and Bayonetta 2 for free. That's not for any particular reason. It just so happened that I had extras of both because I had to buy both twice. So I figured she'd appreciate it. Why not? Let's see. More games released in February include Dragon Quest Builders. I believe Dragon Quest Builders 2 will be coming out later this year. The Longest 5 Minutes. Monster Energy Supercross, the official video game, which is a Supercross game. I loved Supercross 2000 on the N64. I played the heck out of that game. I'm sure I'm going to love this as well. Overcooked Special Edition for the Switch. This has been a digital game for a while. Very popular game. We got a physical release in February. This is the final North American game released in the first year of the Switch's lifetime. Payday 2. It was released on February 27, 5 days before the Switch's first anniversary. So, I just picked this up a few minutes ago, actually, before I sat down to make this video. Super happy to have it. Super happy to say I have a complete Nintendo Switch collection through its first year in North America. You've probably already seen that video if you're watching this. We got Portal Knights, which seems shovelware. Don't know much about it. We got Wonder Boy the Dragon's Trap. Yes, I did indeed buy the same game twice in the same month. One for PS4 through LRG, one on Switch, just straight up release. And then this last game is probably my first regret ever of buying a Switch game. Voez. V-O-E-Z, or Z. For all intents and purposes, this is a North American release. It's in English on the side, showing that the right way. It's in English on the side. The cover's in English. Everything is in English. The game plays in English. The one thing that shows that it's not in English is the cartridge code, which maybe you can see, maybe you can't, but it ends in JPN, which means it's a Japanese release. This is actually the Southeast Asian release, so it was released in Malaysia and countries like that. So the cartridge code and one other thing that differentiates it. There's no ESRB rating. So, why do I regret this? Well, I imported it because it looks like a beautiful game. It's a rhythm-based game, so it's a rhythm game. It looks beautiful. I love the art style. I knew I would play it. And just as I got it, it went up for sale, for pre-sale on US Amazon. The North American version. Again, there's practically no difference between this and what we'll eventually get, except the ESRB rating and the cartridge code. That's the only difference as far as anyone knows between this and that. I'm collecting North American games, which means I gotta buy this all over again when it releases. Currently, September 25 is its North American release date. It's a beautiful game. I'm sure I'll play it a lot, and luckily when I get the North American version of it, my save file should transfer no issue. But I spent a lot of money to import this thinking that I wouldn't need it in North America. Turns out I was wrong. That's the one risk you get with importing, and that's why you don't see me importing more games these days, is because they all have the chance, however small, of getting released here later. So I'd rather focus on North America now and import stuff later after it's become very, very, very clear that it won't be seeing a release here. So that wraps up my my video game pickups video for February 2018. I actually have one last pile here that I completely forgot about. Please forgive me, everyone. My $20 allotment on video games at my local game store has now jumped up to $50, and this is what I got. I mean, you see everything else is like $50, well, look at all the other money you spent. Well, a lot of this was funded by you guys during my live streams. This is straight out of pocket. A lot of the rest of this is straight out of pocket too, but it was vacation money, so it's different. So I got a few Atari 2600 games. I got Sword Quest Earthworld. If you don't know what Sword Quest is, I highly recommend you check out the Angry Video Game Nerd's video on it. That's like the one video where he doesn't swear. It's a historical video where he tells you all about Sword Quest. It's super, super entertaining. So there's 3 Sword Quest games. I got one of the 3. And they should have Fire World all the time now. It's a super common game, so... Anyway, I also got Donkey Kong Jr. for the 2600. Look at the cartridge. It's all vanilla colored, which is awesome. I got my first Atari 5200 game, Pac-Man, which is a superior port to the 2600 version. The one downside is I don't have a 5200 because they do not work very well. I mean, you get one and they'll prove to you in the store that it works, and within 2 weeks it will no longer work. No joke. It was that way when it launched too. That's part of the reason why it fails so badly. Probably one of the reasons why you don't know anything about it. But, you know, I love collecting video games. I'm trying to eventually get every single console, and of course I'll need games for those consoles. That's why I got this. That's why I got a 3DO game. I have an Intellivision game, despite not having an Intellivision, and at the very bottom of this pile there's another game for a console that I don't currently own, but you get the picture. I collect games. I love playing games, so may as well get them now even before I get the consoles. I got quite a few N64 games, and thanks to this and Wave Race, which came in my Retro Game Treasure box, I'm up to 90 N64 games out of 296. Pretty exciting. That's almost a third of the library. Pretty excited by that. So the games I got this month are F1 Pole Position 64. So many sports games on there. In fact, here's more. In the Zone 98. Magical Tetris Challenge, which I'm guessing is a Tetris game. NBA Jam 99. NBA Live 2000. You think maybe NBA liked the N64? Just a guess. Looks like this is the only non-sports game I got. Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue, and it's in a black cart as well, so always fun to collect N64 games that have different colored cartridges. Then the very last N64 game I got is Scars, which I have literally no idea what it is. I have to play some of these sometime just to try them out. My final game that I'm going to show off for you guys is not even a game. Sega Dreamcast Web Browser. I got it because it was $1. It's sealed, still in its original shrink wrap, and this... You can put this in the Dreamcast right now, any Dreamcast in the world that has a modem on it, and use it to surf the web. That's just insane. The Dreamcast was, as far as I know, the first console to offer web browsing, thanks to this. In fact, this was partially developed by Microsoft, and their work with Sega to help develop it gave them enough confidence to try their own hand at making video game consoles. It was this little thing called the Xbox. So, I thought, what the hey, let's just get it for the sake of having something funny, right? So, Dreamcast, 5200, 3DO, 3 new games for consoles I currently don't own. Hopefully I get them in the future. I got not 1, but 2 new consoles. I got so many awesome games, including one of the ones that I've been wanting for a long, long time. That does it for my video games pickups video of 2018, February 2018. This time it's correct. Now I really have shown you everything. Let me know what you think your favorite game was in this whole pile, and I need to find the shelf space to store all of this. See you guys later. Hi everyone, this is Skul. If you liked the video, please leave a like and consider subscribing. I also want to give a huge thanks to my Patreon pledgers for this month, whose names you can see on screen, along with some other videos of mine I think you might enjoy watching. That does it for now. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more.